A man who was handed the same sentence as Nottingham killer Valdo Calocane has been freed after just 2 years in jail. Humphrey Blake received an indefinite hospital order for kicking prison van warden Lauren Barwell to death in 2015. Similar to Calocane's case, the court let Lorraine's family believe that the killer would never be released and admitted him to a psychiatric hospital. But Blake, who is now 30, is free. His release highlights the legal loopholes which could see Calocane back on our streets in just a couple of years. Joining us live is legal commentator Liam Kotrie and criminal psychologist Dr. David Holmes. Thank you both for joining me. Let's go to you first. Liam, this is exactly the opposite of what everybody who's been talking about this case has promised. Every legal expert that I've spoken to on this programme says, although it's hospital and it's not prison, it's effectively a hospital prison. It'll be tough as hell and Calocane will die in secure hospital. So what is this case that we're now talking about indicating?
Well, what it's indicating is that this is not the same as any old situation where someone is convicted of a crime. This man suffered from a serious illness at the time. And it's often the case, and in fact, usually the case, that people stay in secure mental health units for much longer than they have done in this particular case. Anyone watching us right now will completely understand the family's reaction. They have seen him walking around their local neighborhood, and a huge shock to them just 2 years after his sentence by the High Court judge. The difference in the Calocane case is that the judge himself said by the very nature of the disease from which he is suffering means that it is very unlikely that he will ever return out on the streets. But whenever anyone is in these circumstances, they are very heavily supervised by the local medical authority.
Let me talk to David Holmes about this. What do you see in this case? Because obviously we're talking about it because this man had the same sentence as Calocane, but he's back out on the streets again.
Yes, I think basically the way it's handled within the hospitals, they deem it as part of their treatment, if you like, to allow people out, generally under supervision. I'm very shocked that somebody with a sentence as severe as this, with a crime as severe as this, has actually let out unsupervised after such a short time. In fact, I'm quite astonished that anyone would actually deem this as part of the normal therapy. Myself, I think there should be a change to the system.
And how should it be changed? How should it be changed? Can you not hear me? Maybe you can't.
I can't actually hear you.
Okay, well, let me bring Liam back in then. Liam, so what kind of anomaly has allowed this to happen? Why is this happening?
Forgive me, but I'm not sure anomaly is the correct word.
Right, well, you give it the right word.
Again, these people who are released are heavily supervised throughout, so it's factually incorrect to say that they're not. A psychiatrist will have assessed them. They will have had treatment for this time. And one of the most important things about this kind of order is that someone who needs help, someone who needs assistance, gets it. It means that everyone is safer. If you put someone in a regular prison who's suffering from a disorder like this, the prison staff don't have the training nor the numbers to be able to help someone in this kind of situation. So it's better for everyone if they receive proper treatment, whether that's in a secure mental health unit, whether it's in the community, and there is treatment and supervision within that community. And if at any point this man does not adhere to his responsibilities to the medical authorities, he will go back to the mental health unit, the secure mental health unit, which is, as you said at the start, you've been told by other lawyers, they're just like prisons or very similar to prisons, Broadmoor being the most famous of them. These are serious places where it is not a holiday camp.
But Humphrey Blake kicked a woman to death. He killed a woman by kicking her to death. And after 2 years, he's spotted out and about in the neighbourhood. He's not incarcerated, he's not deprived of his liberty, he's not behind bars where everybody's safe from him and he's safe from everybody else. He's around and about in the neighbourhood and is spied by this woman's own family. So it's still difficult to see how this could possibly come about, isn't it?
I mean, it doesn't fit, does it? When you think about it, on the face of it, it doesn't fit. But if you look deeper, we think about why punish someone. Well, in these circumstances, we'd be punishing someone who didn't have the mental capacity to be able to commit the crime itself. And under those circumstances, the judge felt that a hospital order, and of course his ongoing mental health needs, felt that a hospital order was the most appropriate solution. A hospital order is not punishment. It is not punishment. It is to ensure that the person who's committed the crime gets the help that they need so something like this does not happen again. It's probably worth adding that Serco were fined over £2 million for this incident, for this poor woman, Lorraine Barwell, who was killed by this man at the prison due to poor standards of health and safety for their staff. All of this could have been avoided is the real sad thing. But the reality is that she has died, and the family understandably want justice. And people need to know, why do these things happen? Why are people who have committed such horrific crimes, affected people in so many different ways, allowed back on the streets? And these are the reasons. It's so that they get the help that they need so something like this does not happen again, so we are all safer. And that's the most important thing. And these things are thought about very carefully by judges. They go through step by step. And in the case of Calocane, the sentencing by the judge is in fact available online. It was one of the first that was filmed and published on television. And you can go through that and see the step-by-step process the judge goes through, to make sure that everyone understands the process taken, so that everyone is safe and well when someone like this can be released.